Put your hand over your heart. We'll now have the national anthem.
Now everybody listen up. It isn't going to be like your professional singer, because all of you are going to sing the national anthem. Just make sure I pitch it right, because you'll never hit that high note. I've got some back. Where's the backup? Well, that's enough. Okay. Oh, that's about right now.
Yeah, close enough.
You all sing. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket red glare, the bomb bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the brave and the home of the brave. Hip, hip! Hip, hip! Hip, hip!
So it is my great pleasure and honor to introduce Mr. Warren Hegg of the National Office of Spirit of 45, who will introduce some of our key dignitaries. Please, a warm round of applause, Mr. Warren Hegg.
Thank you, thank you. Well, the dignitaries that are here today, as you know, are the members of the greatest generation, the men and women who endured the Great Depression, the great difficult times of World War II, and then came home in the most incredible, unprecedented act in history, rebuilt our world. So let's give it up for the greatest generation. Let's start off on the right foot. And I want to remind you that we all have the DNA, the same DNA of those wonderful people. So we have little people today, a lot of them. The Girl Scouts, as you know, are celebrating their 100th anniversary this year. They stopped making cookies. They made calendars in World War II because of rationing. But we have some of them today on the stage because next year, this year was all about the unsung heroes. People like Ron's family, the Scouts, the Filipino Scouts, some of the Latinos who were never recognized for their service. As Cancelo mentioned, the Chinese Americans who were never mentioned in the service records as much as they deserve. So this year it's really about everybody, the common people. But going forward, it's about the transformational role of the war on the role of women in America. They were the ones, not only in uniform, but stepped into the factories and built the required armaments and the uniforms, everything to make this go. And most importantly, took those pink slips when it was over so the guys could come back and get a job, and then together rebuilt the world. It's an amazing story. So today there's no better person to help us kick off the afternoon than a veteran, a leader, and a woman, Rose Herrera, who has been with us since day one on this effort, who is always about the homecoming. She's concerned as much about today's veterans as she is about honoring those of her generation, Vietnam era, and the earlier generation of our World War II. But I'd like Rose to join us here. We have some commendations, and we have a quick moment before we all just kind of get back into the mood today. So Rose Herrera, council member from the City Council of San Jose. Rose, would you join me? I just want to reiterate, when the girls are saying leadership, they've got to look at role models, and we've been so graced to having Rose. I'm not talking about events. A lot of politicians and folks come out for events. She's with us behind the scenes year-round. She works for this project because she believes in restoring a spirit of unity and community in our country to get to deal with the problems we're dealing with now. Rose, thank you.
Thank you, Warren. I don't know. Thank you. Let's give a hand to Warren Hegg. Good to have him back. When I started off in council, he was with me, and then the world discovered him, and he's been all over the country. So we're really honored to have him back here today. Thank you so much, everyone, for turning out today. It's wonderful to see everybody here and to begin to be able to have the younger generation understand what Spirit of 45 means and maybe what it felt like back then when the war ended. What did you guys think? Wasn't that a great celebration? I also want to welcome those folks from the villages who are in District 8. That's the district I represent. Village people, raise your hands. Woo! And again, the folks that are here that actually are World War II survivors, veterans, especially to you all, thank you so much. Can you raise your hands, World War II vets, right here in front of me? Because of thousands of people and supporters across America preserving this, it eventually now has become a nationwide, and Congress designated the second Sunday in August as Spirit of 45 Day in 2010. And that's because of the effort of people here. Isn't that wonderful? We took it all across the country. It's an opportunity to reflect the 400,000 who gave their lives during World War II. The incredible era of prosperity that followed due to contributions of everyone. And yes, women made tremendous contributions. And so I would like to kick off the festivities. I want to bring my colleague up now, Councilmember Chu, who has a commendation that we will present on behalf of the City Council. Here to present, and this is to Skip, Chief Master Sergeant Skip, who's our honored veteran here today. We want to present you on behalf of the City Council and the Mayor to honor you and your service. And on this day, Spirit of 45 Day, thank you so much, Skip. There are no words that can really communicate the thankfulness, the gratitude that we all have for you and the folks that you represent in your generation. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? Today, on behalf of Supervisor Kotesi and the Board of Supervisors, and next to me is Daisy Chu from George Sarakawa. But first of all, I would like to recognize all the World War II veterans and all the veterans who are dedicated, sacrifice their life, and contribute for all your service. Because for your service, that's what make what we are here today. So we want to recognize you for your contribution, for your service for this country. And with that, I like to present the commendation from the Supervisor Kotesi and from the county, along with Daisy Chu, to honor and recognize the legacy of World War II generation and for keeping the spirit of 45 alive. So once again, I'd like to present the commendation. Before we present, Daisy Chu, would you like to say something?
Thank you, Table. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Daisy Chu, a policy aide to President of the Board, Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors, George Shirakawa. On behalf of the Supervisor Shirakawa, he sends best wishes to the great success of this Spirit 45. And thank you all for being here. Together we're honoring our veteran, World War II veteran. And as a veteran himself, he knows firsthand how much their families, the sacrifice for our country. Therefore, he appreciates all of you to being here to honor our veterans and also the past, current, and future men and women in the services. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The reason I'm here is because of you. The good Lord sent me to Iwo Jima, and He sent me back home to visit all of you like every Sunday like this. I thank you so much for coming, and keep up the good work. Stay honest and work with each other, and we'll keep going. Thank you so much.
Down there, I ask you, please give her San Jose, welcome to Nell Calloway.
This is my first visit to San Jose, and I can tell you I've fallen in love. I told him last night, I woke up yesterday morning, it was 56 degrees. I called home, it was 100, so I think I'm staying. But anyway, it's a great honor for me to be here, and it's a great honor for me to represent the Spirit of 45. I am the director of a museum who we have all wars from World War I through Iraqi freedom represented. And the Spirit of 45 is so important to us. I thank each and every one of you for coming here, for showing your patriotism, for showing you everybody the appreciation that we have for the greatest generation. But it's so very, very important that we remember that, because we have so many wounded warriors coming home today. And I just truly believe the more that we stand up and we appreciate and we remember the wars that we've been in, the more they'll realize that we're not going to forget them either. So this is extremely, extremely important. And thank you for bringing your children here, because as I tell all the children who visit the museum, who is it going to be up to continue our fight for freedom? And they all get that. They all say us. So it's just important what we're doing here, and it's important that we continue to remind everybody of the victory and the great patriotism we felt during that time. Thank you very much for allowing me to be here, and enjoy your day.
Good afternoon, folks. My name is Robert Banya. I'm with the San Jose Vet Center here in San Jose, California, on the corner of Julian and North 2nd Street. We're here to represent the veteran and as a motivator and encourager, and hopefully helping the veteran with issues with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. We're also here for a resource as information throughout the Veterans Administration, as well as opportunities, and of course learning about what we do as a vet center. I'm here today just to represent, to put us out here, to let you know that we'll never leave anybody behind, especially for our vets. Other than that, any information, anything I can do for you, please give us a call at area code 408-993-0729. Thank you, and have a beautiful day.
We're American Legion, Facility 318. We do a lot of support for both veterans who are active duty, Moffett Field, for those overseas, for care and comfort, as well as we send kids to camp. We do programs throughout San Jose, Legion baseball, things like that. So definitely get involved. That's what I tell people. If you're a veteran, join a veteran organization.
Hi, I'm Karen Carter. I'm Director of Community Relations for the Dignity Providers in the Bay Area. And I am with the Spirit of 45 because we honor and treasure and love our veterans. All of our Dignity Providers have veteran benefits for each and every veteran. And we want to serve and let all the folks know that we are grateful for their service and that we want to provide the best service possible for them in their end of life.
Hornet, please put your hands together for the Swinging Blue Stars of the USS Hornet.
Proud son of a World War II Coast Guard veteran who died 5 years ago at the age of 92, Sterling Jacob Hay. Now, Sterling never wanted to talk about World War II. I was surprised later in life to discover that our coasts had extended to Guadalcanal, the Philippines, and Normandy during World War II. The Coast Guard was part of all that. My dad was always kind of shy about talking about his experiences. And I later learned that the biggest reason for that was that his little brother, had died in the final battle of World War II in Okinawa in May 1945. So it was very difficult for him to talk about World War II, the greatest generation. And so he sort of shut that away from his family. And in doing so, since obviously his younger brother didn't have anybody really to carry on for him, he sort of shut the door. And it was a sad thing for me, sad thing for our family, sad thing for my sons. But a few years ago, I had the good fortune to meet a World War II Coast Guard survivor, a man who had served in the Coast Guard during World War II. And I asked him, I said, listen, the Coast Guard was sort of an undersung or unappreciated service. It was, you know, despite the fact that it was the first service created by the United States government. You probably know that today we're celebrating the 222nd anniversary, birthday of the Coast Guard. It predates the Army, predates the Navy. But it's the service that people don't necessarily speak of, don't talk about in the midst of all these great movies and all these great sagas about World War II. And yet, some of my Navy friends and my Army friends say, you know, it's kind of interesting. The Coast Guard every day puts their lives on the line in service to save and to protect and secure. And today they are part of our homeland security. Well, all of that was kind of, we could have missed that except for people like Marv who were willing to say, I am proud to say I served in the United States Coast Guard. He was largely in New York when he was actually there on the day the war was over, was declared. And I asked Marv, would he be willing to sort of step up for all those unsung heroes, for all those years of the Coast Guard? And Marv said he would. And so tonight is really Marv's night. It's my dad's night. And it's a night for all the unsung heroes of all the services. And I hope that I'm so proud that you came out. I know that it's a very special evening, and I hope we can do this every year. But I'd like to turn the mic over to Marv because he's just kept the faith. He's got a beautiful wife that he's been with for how many years now, Marv? 60? 68 years. Give it up. He takes good care of her the way the Coast Guard takes good care of this country. I don't know how many of these events Marv's going to be able to attend in the future, but he's with us tonight, so I want him to have a moment in the sun, and he's certainly been a deep and dear friend for me, and I'm proud that I'm able to turn the mic over to somebody that I love and respect so much. Marv?
I have a very special message tonight for everybody here from a very special person. So let me start my little story. My name is Marv Modell. I was a kid of 20 when I enlisted in the United States Coast Guard, and I served during 1942, 43, 44, and 45. Following boot camp and some port security duty, I joined the vital and heroic men and spars in Coast Guard intelligence until I was finally discharged in December of 45. Earlier this year, about 6 months ago, I was fortunate to make the acquaintance with the Coast Guard's highest ranking officer, 4-star Admiral and the Coast Guard's highly regarded current Commandant, Robert J. Papp Jr. He calls me his shipmate, and we're friends. 2 weeks ago from this evening, I contacted the Admiral. I described the coming events of today's activities here on August 4th in San Jose, and I suggested that the Admiral might wish to send his personal greetings and feelings to the folks in Silicon Valley. He immediately agreed to do so. This may be a first. I was a seaman first class, and he's a 4-star Admiral. And he followed my suggestion. And so, let me close this little presentation by telling you and relating the exact sentiments and words to everybody present directly from the Commandant of the United States Coast Guard. And I quote, "Shipmates, today we celebrate the Coast Guard's 222nd birthday. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for commemorating the sacrifices and dedicated service of all of our veterans. I want to particularly thank those World War II veterans who are joining in today's celebration. You truly are the greatest generation. I salute your efforts to keep the spirit of 45 alive. And Semper Paratus, always ready. Close quote. Thank you.
So I hope you've enjoyed the evening, and Robert, I'm going to turn the microphone over to you, but I just want to thank again all of you that the Coast Guard, as I say, represents America in so many ways, and we hope that at Spirit of 45 you realize that tonight is actually the official kickoff, that later this week, the actual Spirit of 45 Day now takes place on the second Sunday in every August. Congress passed the legislation on that 2 years ago, so we're literally the first group across in the country to start the ball rolling. We got some exciting events that are going to take place in the next week, not the least of which is in Milwaukee. They're going to have 30,000 people in Brewers Stadium. There's going to be a big group of people at the Washington Memorial. There'll be about 500 events across the country. So I think you should give yourselves a hand that you got the ball rolling a few years ago, and tonight you did the right thing by a very dear shipmate of all of us. Thank you. There and kind of encourage the creation of a day that he thought would be for the ordinary sailors, the ordinary Army, the ordinary people. And I remember sitting in his living room in Beverly Hills, and this is a guy who, right when I saw him, he was like 92 years old, and he was still doing movie parts. I mean, he's still 5 decades of work. And I said, well, tell me a little bit. Tell me a little bit about your story. He said, well, first of all, I was a little kid in Connecticut. We didn't have much money. It was the Depression. It was 1935, and I went into the Navy because I wanted to put a few nickels on the table for Mom. And I got out around 1940, 41, and then comes Pearl Harbor, and I went to my mom, and I said, Mom, I got to go back in. And she said, Ernie, no way. No, you're not going back. It's those Navy guys that are getting killed. It was right after Pearl Harbor. And he said, Mom, I wore their uniform. I have to go back. So he served until 1945. The only Hollywood star that on this side of the screen had given his country 10 years of his life in service to his country. And he spent all of his years as a movie actor always making himself available to Navy veterans and Navy functions and so on. And so when it came to be an opportunity to establish this new National Day, Ernie said, I'm on board. And he literally died keeping that promise. Isn't that a coincidence? You got a band, you got a bugler. Again, we're going to preempt everybody. On August 12th, on Sunday, August 12th, on National Spirit of 45 Day, at the Navy Memorial, about 20 buglers are going to assemble, and they're going to play taps in honor of Mr. Borgnine. They're going to play taps across the country. At this point, there's about 300 buglers that have signed on to do this from East Coast all the way to Hawaii. But we thought if it's okay with the people tonight, in honor of Marv's shipmates and in honor of who are not with us tonight, and for Mr. Borgnine, who will not be with us in future nights, but it will always be with us in deep spirit, if we could have a bugler play taps in his honor, thought it would be an appropriate thing for an evening like this.